Hey guys, Rex here, and welcome back to my Let's Play world. Today is episode 25, and last episode, guys, we built this area here in the middle of my base on the surface, the courtyard, and I think it is looking pretty good here. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is that I really appreciated your feedback on last episode, guys. There was a lot of positive feedback on the time-lapse. You guys seemed to really like that. But the general consensus was that you guys didn't like the music. And yeah, I decided to experiment by using some different music, some unusual music, stuff that I don't usually use in the time-lapse there, just to see how well it would go over, and you guys did not like it. So, needless to say, I will not be doing that again anytime soon. We're going to stick to what I've been using for past time lapses because you guys seem to like that. But yeah, keep it up, guys. I really love when you guys give feedback on the videos because it helps me to know what you liked and what you didn't like, so I can just make the episodes better and better for you guys. So the next thing I want to talk about real quick is that I have finally updated my resource pack to 1.11. Previously, it hadn't been updated since 1.8, and since then they've made a lot of changes to the GUI of the game, and a lot of things were broken, like the attack indicator didn't work, and the little potion effect you see in the top right, it didn't work with my resource pack either. A lot of things like that, so that has finally been updated so that everything works properly. I've also added a shield model to my resource pack so that it now renders lower, and you can actually see when you're holding the shield. And one final thing that I'm not sure about is I have added the BOO log texture to my resource pack. Now, I don't know if I'm keeping this, so I didn't put this in the download, which you can find in the description. But, yeah, it just darkens the edges of the logs like this, and I'll probably add a connected texture so that stuff like this will connect together. But, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think of this, or just me using this on a regular basis if I can get up here. Because I actually really like the look of the log with the shadows on the side like this. I think it looks so good. But I do also think it looks kind of out of place. Like if I come back here, you'll notice that it almost looks like it's not a vanilla texture. So it looks like it's out of place, but I do think it looks really good. So I don't know whether I'm going to use it or not. And I want you guys to let me know down in the comments what you think, whether you would like to see me use this or not. But yeah, I don't know, that's my opinion on that. So, now let's get to what I've been doing since, in the time between this episode and last, I've been doing a lot of stuff. As you saw in the little clip before the episode started, I finally got myself a flying bow. I tried so hard. It took, like, I've been trying so hard to get a bow like this. So let's get rid of the shield here. And the way I did that, actually, was by breeding lots and lots of villagers. So if we come down here, we can see that the villager breeder is pumping out little villagers, and I've got a little holding cell here where I can just sort out the villagers, get rid of the ones I don't want, which is kind of cruel and feels really cruel, but it's got to be done. And then down here we have a bunch of villagers, and these all have basically good trades. I even ditched the ones with the bad trades, or like cartographers or whatever. We don't need them. I have one cartographer, and that's all we need. So, I don't know, we got like power 3 here, which is not great, but here's punch 2. I actually didn't have this guy when I made the bow, as you saw at the beginning. Here's the cartographer, the Woodland Explorer map, and the Ocean Explorer map. I don't know when we're going to get around to that. And, I don't know, we've got Depth Strider, all sorts of good enchantments here. We've got Unbreaking, Mending, all sorts of good trades. So I will be using those to get proper gear. I don't have some things that I really want, kind of like Efficiency 5 and Sharpness 5 and Protection 4. Those are some more that I want. So I'm going to keep doing this, but it does take quite a long time, and I'm being a lazy bum and not actually going through all the trades with most of them. I'm just kind of having them spit out and then checking the first trade, because I kind of feel like I want one villager with each kind of trade. But yeah, that's how I got the flying bow. And before we move on to what I want to do today, I want to see if I can show you guys my trick for a grounded takeoff with the flying bow. So, if we come up here, what I like to do with this is to to perform a grounded takeoff, like without flying first, the easiest way I find to do it is to shoot an arrow at kind of like, almost like a 45, that's not quite a 45, it's more like a 30-degree angle, kind of like this, right? A short shot, and then you want to jump into it, which of course I'm on camera so I can't do it right now. But you'll notice when you jump into it, you kind of go flying a little bit, right? And if you activate your wings, there we go. It's like a free flight, just like that. It's actually super easy to do. You can do it with just one arrow. But if you want, you can even just shoot yourself again right afterwards, and you're up in the sky. It's very easy to do, and I've actually, in a very short time, become quite good at it. So if you're wondering how you can do that, then that is the trick. But yeah, now let's move on to what we're going to do today. So with 1.11 comes the removal of translocation, and this elevator no longer works. And I've been using this ladder for the past while, and not acceptable. Super duper slow here. So the first thing I'm going to do this episode is replace the elevator with a slime block elevator. I really didn't want to have to do this because I wanted to stick with piston elevators because it felt more like industrial, and I wanted to keep that feel. But I really can't think of another good elevator design, so we're going to be using slime block elevators. But obviously the first thing we have to do is destroy this thing, which, you know, I'm sad to see this go because I really like this design. But it is broken and we've got to replace it. So let's do that. So I have finished clearing out the old elevator here, and as you can see, there's a big gaping hole where that used to be. But man, guys, I have spent a huge amount of time trying to design an elevator for this location, because I'm kind of picky when it comes to things like this that I'm going to use all the time, and I want it to have some cool features. And the first one is that I want it to be really convenient to use. I don't want to have to press any buttons or get in a minecart or do anything like that. I want to be able to walk in and walk out without having to hit anything. Alright, so that's important. And the other thing is that I want it to look cool, and that is why these lights are here. And I want to keep the lights because they're kind of a signature element of the elevator that goes here. And but putting the redstone in for these lights, you know, around the rest of the elevator was a huge pain, and it took a really long time to get working. And then, of course, I want the elevator to be reliable because, you know, we don't want it to stop working and fall down and, you know, sadness. But let's get started here. It's about time I stop rambling. So the first thing we're going to do is at the bottom, we're going to have a directional input. So I'm going to get rid of this just so I can demonstrate what I want to do here. We only want the elevator to activate when I walk into it, right? When I walk into the elevator, we want it to... How did that get all the way down there? Okay, sorry. I'm getting sidetracked here. So, when we walk into the elevator, we want it to launch us up. But when we walk out of the elevator, we don't want it to launch behind us because that's noisy and annoying. So, we're going to add a directional input. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do this here. So, you see I have two pressure plates here on top of two solid blocks. And underneath this one, I'm going to add a sticky piston with a redstone block. Okay, and now we want to take a redstone output from the redstone block when it's in the retracted position. So I'm just going to put a redstone lamp here to demonstrate when the elevator would activate. Now, keep in mind here that the elevator is going to activate on a monostable. So it's going to activate when this lamp goes from off to on. Okay, so the way this works is because of piston quasi-conductivity. If I stand on this pressure plate, nothing is going to happen because the piston is underneath this block. But when I move to this block, you'll notice because the piston is right underneath, it extended the piston. You can't see it right now, but take my word for it, you heard it. The piston extended, the redstone block moved, and the lamp turned off. Now, when I get off of this pressure plate, notice the elevator is not going to activate right now because I'm still on the pressure plate. As soon as I get fully in the elevator and off the pressure plate, the piston's going to retract, and if we kind of sneak over here, you can see that the lamp turned on. So it went from off to on, meaning the elevator is going to activate. So when we walk in, bam, the elevator is going to activate. Now, the cool part comes when we walk out. So if we're walking out, we step on this pressure plate, right? Now it's going to power the piston. And then when we move to this pressure plate, the piston is going to stay powered because the block that underneath this pressure plate is quasi-connectively powering the piston. And it's going to stay extended. Now when I move off this pressure plate, because it's not giving any updates to the piston, it's going to stay off. So no matter how many times, I'll just put a block here to make it easier. No matter how many times I walk out of the elevator like this, it's going to stay, even if I walk on and then walk back off like this, it's going to stay off. Oh, I don't know what happened there. It's because I went too fast. But if I walk out of the elevator, it's going to stay off and not activate the elevator. But when I walk in, it's going to turn on and activate the elevator, which is really, really cool, and I love this. So that is what we're going to be using. So the next phase of the project is complete, and that is the initial launching mechanism, which is pretty cool. Let me show you here. So when we walk in, you can see there's a chiseled stone brick in the floor there, and when we walk in, it quickly gets swapped with a slime block and then will launch us up. Using all this crazy redstone down here, I even had to use a double extender for the piston there because it was interfering with the input. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You can see how it does that. It swaps it, launches, and then goes back just like that. But you might be wondering, why on earth did I do this? Because the slime block will just prevent me from fall damage, and then I won't have to worry about fall damage. And now I have to worry about fall damage. And I'll tell you the reasons. The first reason is that the slime on the floor looks ugly. But that's a small reason compared to the fact that this elevator is meant to be as convenient to use as possible, which means no pushing buttons when you're in the elevator, okay? I don't want to have to hit the space bar in order to stop bouncing, and I don't like, bouncing around real quick when you land on the slime block. And if I accidentally activate my Elytra, I might fly through this hole here, which has to be there to accommodate the next slime launcher. And yeah, just don't want a slime block in the floor. The other thing is, when you're on a slime block, you move slowly, and I don't want to move slowly. When I want to get out of here as quickly as possible. I don't want to move slowly. So we're going to have this swap out and launch and then swap back. Nice and clean. It's pretty cool. But then you might be wondering, what are we going to do about fall damage? And what I've decided to do is I'm going to put some blocks here, and you probably guessed it by now. I'm going to put a dispenser right here, if I can actually get up there. And water bucket is going to go in there. So I'm going to place, actually I'll leave the water bucket until the end because we're going to be using observer blocks to power this. Alright, so we want to observe this piece of redstone because that's going to turn on then off. And that's going to output 2 pulses for our dispenser here. So we want to do observer, come on. Okay, there we go. Observer, 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 block, block, repeater, and then one more block right underneath. Okay? And now I'm going to put some water in the gap here and then place a bucket here. Now, this is really cool. So, obviously, if I fall down the elevator shaft at any time now, I'm going to fall through this water and not take any fall damage. So if the elevator happens to malfunction, then I'm not going to take any fall damage. If I just jump down there's going to be no redstone at the top. I just have to jump down and I won't take any fall damage. But now, when it launches, because of this observer block chain here, it's actually going to turn it off and turn it back on. Oh, that was fail. Fail, 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 fail. Okay, let's try this again. So you can see that when it launches, water gets turned off, water gets turned on, which is really cool, and it just makes this elevator super duper easy to use. It looks like we're almost done here because I've completed the second slime block bouncer and the light animation here. So if I just quickly remove this pressure plate so I can demonstrate, when I step on here, you can see that we get the light animation and the second bouncer goes off. So one more time, just like that, and we get no blocks going off because I put no blocks here. I'll have to, oh, it's the ones at the top because there's nothing on top of them. Okay, that will be fixed when we're done building the elevator, but as you can see, it works very nicely, and the water is redispensed, so if something happens and it doesn't work, or if I just want to jump down, I can get down here with no fall damage. So I think all that's left to do, oh, I just randomly pushed my mouse there, is to add the other 2 slime block bouncers at the top, and we'll be done. Okay, everybody, I'm back out at the top here, which means that the elevator is now complete. And as you can see, I kind of made a little area up here for it, and it's looking alright. I could not for the life of me get this to look nice. So if you take a look here and come up with something that does look nice, then feel free to tweet it to me at NanoRexMC, and I'll definitely have a look, because I can't come up with anything to go here that looks nice. But I'm just going to show you how easy it is to use this elevator. All I have to do is walk, fall, walk out. Super duper simple. Walk in, get bounced up, and get automatically pushed out. It is so easy to use. I don't like it quite as much as the previous one because the previous one, I don't know, felt better to go up. This one feels really slow compared to the other one. I don't know if it actually is slower, but it definitely feels slower. But yeah, I do like it. It's working pretty well. I'm not a huge fan of having the note blocks on the sides and stuff because you can click on them, so it's hard to eat when you're going up the elevator, which is something I like to do. And yeah, but you can't really replace it with anything. You have to use like something ugly like obsidian or leaves or melons if you didn't want to have that. So I don't know. That's just an unfortunate side effect of slime blocks. I'm not a huge fan of slime blocks. I kind of wish they had added a sticky slime block and a bouncy slime block instead of one that was both. But let's take a quick look at the redstone back here. As you can see, it is quite a mess. It's actually really messy redstone up there. I'm definitely not proud of it. But this stuff took me forever to do. Like the lights are right here. They're all super duper compacted. This part I'm pretty proud of, but this whole build is just kind of a mess. But it does work, and that is what matters here. So if I just plug up this hole, because we are done working underneath the floor, I was thinking to end off this episode, I would take a look and see how the villagers are doing. So I will meet you, or I'll see you, when I get there. Isn't that a wonderful sound? Don't you love it? No? Well, I don't even know what to say about this. This thing has been running the whole time I've been working on the elevator, and we now have a lot of guys to sort through, so let's get rid of this horrible noise. I don't even know where it is. Is he a friendly creature? Okay, they're done now. So, what I have to do here, and it's going to be quite a pain with so many villagers in there, is to sort through and see if I can, eliminate everybody but the white-coated villagers, the librarians, and I want to get rid of the cartographers too because I don't have any use for those guys. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is destroy the village, and I've done this like a ton of times. I just want to show you what I've been doing to get these villagers with the good trades. And the reason for this is because they actually, you get like negative points in the village when you hit villagers that are in a village, and I think that has the potential to affect their trades. So I'm not sure. But I do that just to be safe. But yeah, I don't want anybody, making a trade worse or, anything because of that. But yeah, we just gotta sit here and whack villagers and hope we don't hit the white ones. Normally it's really easy to not hit the white ones, but because there's so many in here, you gotta be really careful as to which ones you're hitting. So, let's do this. Okay, I'm honestly not sure what to do here because I keep hitting the librarians by accident. So I think I'm going to actually have to expand the trench before I can hit any of them safely. So once we're all done, this is what we end up with. A bunch of villagers. Here, just the white-coated ones, and you're a cartographer. We don't want you. And then we just have to sort through them to figure out which ones we like. And then we just push them right through this gate here, which conveniently I can fit through and they can't. But I've already looked through these guys, and we don't have any good ones here in the first trade. So once again, I only want to use the first trade here because I want to have one for each trade just in the first slot. And I don't care how long that takes. I think it would be cool to have that. So yeah, these guys have all got to go. But unfortunately, yeah, it's been a week and my recording was interrupted. So, and I didn't get back to it for like a week. But, you know what? I've said the word but like 500 times this episode. And I don't understand why my brain just decided to not work and use that word way too many times. So anyway, yeah. 1.11.1 just came out, and this guy that I spent all the effort making at the beginning of this episode and showing you guys how to do the boost bowl thing with, well, I think it's completely useless now. I'm not sure. I haven't actually played around with the fireworks yet, so let's give it a shot. I think you need to be actually flying for it to work, so let's use this guy. If I can, you know, press the space bar, that would be helpful. To get a boost, and then I think I should be able to use the rocket. Oh man, that is so cool. That is so much more convenient. It gives you a huge boost too. It gives you like the equivalent of like a punch 5 bow. Or maybe like a punch 4 bow. That's so much nicer. Wow, everyone's been talking, you know, saying this is really amazing, and I totally believe him now. And now I finally have a use for all the gunpowder. Oh no, oh no! Oh, that was almost sad times. Alright. But I think that is all the time I have for today's episode. We did get quite a bit done here with the elevator, which now works really nicely. And let's try and not die. Ugh, there we go. So we can just drop down and come right back up. And it doesn't look the greatest. I agree with the note blocks and the slam blocks and the water. And yeah, I definitely prefer the old one, but this one definitely works. So yeah, and once again, this thing, tell me how to make this thing look nice because I cannot do it. But if you did enjoy today's episode, then a like would be much appreciated. And you can follow me on Twitter, at NanoRexMC for more updates. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Rex out.